What's up, family? Today we have breaking news to share with you. Montana has become the first state to ban social media. Who would have thought it would come down to this? But Montana lawmakers said that they know what's best for their citizens. Now, in other news, the IRS is releasing another warning message after the recent claims of fraud. They want to remind you to protect yourself. And last but not least, President Biden is advised to prepare for the worst. I've got the details to share with you real quick. Take the time to subscribe to this channel as well as hit the like button, as it really helps out this channel. Now let's go ahead and start with the video. Guys, you heard it. This is breaking news, but Montana has decided to officially ban TikTok. Yes, guys, shockingly enough, Montana says that it's becoming the first in its nation. TikTok ban protects people, they saying. TikTok says it violates their rights, and we'll just have to see how this all handles out in court. But anyways, guys, Montana became the first state in the United States to enact a complete ban on TikTok on Wednesday, when the Republicans' Governor Greg Gianforte signed a measure that more sweeping than any other state's attempt to curtail the social media app, which is owned by the Chinese tech company. Now, this particular measure, which is scheduled to take effect on January the 1st of next year, is expected to challenge legally and will serve as a testing ground for the TikTok Free America that many national lawmakers have envisioned. Cybersecurity experts say it could be difficult to enforce this ban. Now, in addition to that, it says that Montana takes the most divisive action of any state to protect Montanians' private data as well as sensitive personal information from being harvested by the Chinese Communist Party, according to the governor. So, yes, guys, shockingly enough, Montana wanted to be the first one to go ahead and implement a ban altogether of this particular social media platform. Now, again, they are saying that it is not safe because the Chinese Communist Party is holding the data of its citizens in the state of Montana, in which the governor doesn't feel like that should be appropriate. So he is trying to say, look, he knows best for the American people in his respective state, and he wants to protect them as well as their identity, as well as their private information. So therefore, he has decided to go ahead and sign this piece of legislation that is going to ban the TikTok app altogether, just for the state of Montana. But anyways, guys, according to some of the experts, they are saying that, look, it's going to be hard to ban this particular app, especially when you have other applications out there such as NordVPN, which pretty much reroutes you through another country to get directly related to the social media platform. So anyways, guys, we'll just have to see how all of this turns out, but it does say that this particular ban does not take effect until next year on January the 1st. But anyways, guys, could we see more states implementing some sort of similar legislation just like this one, considering that the federal government is unable to do so as of yet? Let me know what you think about this down below in the comment section, guys. But moving on, guys, also we have a warning message coming directly from the IRS, in which they are telling us, because recently those individuals have to have filed their tax returns by the 15th of April. So anyways, guys, now that they've gotten all that information in their offices, and it has been over 30 days or so, the IRS is letting us know that more than 1 million tax returns have been flagged for potential identity fraud, according to the IRS. Now, yes, more than 1 million tax returns have been flagged for potential identity fraud for more than $6 billion in refunds, requiring additional review of these specific tax returns. Now, an interim report on the 2023 tax filing season that the IRS composed last week and publicly released the information on Tuesday states that the agency identified almost 1.1 million returns that need to have additional review because of identity theft filters as of March the 2nd. Now, the IRS confirmed that 12,617 returns are to be fraudulent, preventing $105 million in refunds from being distributed to its respectful owners. So anyways, guys, in total, they did confirm to be fraudulent. It's up to around 3,000 from the 9,626 number that were confirmed to be fraudulent at this same time last year. So anyways, guys, that is a huge warning message. So if you haven't filed your tax return, you definitely want to be be mindful of that, guys. You want to make sure that no one else has filed it under your name and filed it for you. Or on the flip side, if you already have filed your tax return, you want to make sure that the tax return that the IRS has in their possession is actually the one that you filed versus something that a fraudster has filed. So anyways, guys, I will say from personal experience, I have had someone file our tax returns in our name in the past, in which now the IRS has to send us specifically private PIN numbers every single year in order for us to file our tax returns online or digitally. So anyways, guys, protect yourselves. Go ahead and go to the IRS.gov's website to get more information on this, to make sure that you have not fallen victim to one of these fraudsters. But anyways, guys, that is a huge warning message directly from the IRS. Now, moving on in regards to what we have going on in this country, which the country could be facing towards a default if Congress, lawmakers are unable to pass a debt ceiling piece of legislation here recently. Guys, it is coming down to the wire. What is today? Today is like the 18th, and it is coming up very quickly, guys. But the good news is that we did hear from President Biden, in which he said that, look, we could see some piece of legislation by the end of this week. However, he has left the country. I'll tell you about that in just a moment. But anyways, guys, it says right here that President Biden has now given the clearest indication to date, as of today, that he is now willing to make a critical debt ceiling compromise with the Republicans. Yes, guys, after he told us before that it was not up for negotiations, it looks like he is having a change of tune at this particular time. It says that the president downplayed his embrace of work requirements on government programs as modest, but his fellow Democrats have already warned against it, adding these specific work requirements to the negotiations in regards to raising the debt ceiling limit. So anyways, guys, it does look like that President Biden is now open to a few negotiations to get this thing done, to meet the deadline on June the 1st, but he hasn't necessarily said exactly what he wants to see as a compromise. But anyways, guys, Senate Democrats are not happy about Biden's positioning or his flipping in regards to negotiating with the Republicans, in which the Senate Democrats are asking President Biden to stop negotiating with the Republicans on the debt ceiling solution, because it cannot go good, guys. Obviously, the Republicans are going to try to get everything they can in order to pass the debt ceiling limit. But Senate Democrats, they are very watching this closely, and they are saying that, look, President Biden just needs to stop. He just needs to stop talking with them, and let's figure this out on our own. We have other options just in case, but President Biden, just stop it right now. Let's take a different route, a different approach. But anyways, guys, obviously the Senate Democrats are not happy with this decision to be able to compromise with the Republicans, as well as we also saw, as of yesterday, we saw AOC call out the president as well, saying that, look, this is definitely dysfunctional. We cannot bow down to the GOP's recommendations or their requirements in order to do this debt ceiling increase in a bipartisan way. So anyways, guys, the Democrats are not exactly happy with the current president at this particular time. But anyways, guys, we'll just have to see what exactly comes from these negotiations. We already know that the Republicans are talking about including the work requirements for some of these entitlement programs. But anyways, guys, we'll just have to see. Also, like I said, there are some other measures in order to raise the debt ceiling, in which some Senate Democrats are actually urging President Biden to prepare for the worst right now, because we already know, dealing with the Republicans, we know how this can all turn out. They do not care whether or not the U.S. defaults on its obligations. So we need to prepare ourselves. We need to prepare for the worst. And also, the Senate Democrats have also urged President Biden to just go ahead and prepare to invoke the 14th Amendment to tackle this whole entire debt limit issues. So yes, guys, we talked about it previously on this channel, where the 14th Amendment would allow the president to actually raise or invoke measures to raise the debt ceiling in a time of need, in a time of emergency, that would prevent a default on its obligations, which would include our SNAP recipients with their benefits, as well as our Social Security recipients and their monthly payout benefits as well. So anyways, guys, he does have that option to use the 14th Amendment, but I believe he wants to save that in his back pocket for a last minute emergencies. But right now he said that, look, he is willing to compromise. And yes, guys, like I told you earlier in the video, that President Biden, he spoke yesterday before he left for his overseas trip. And as we would expect, the GOP is not happy about this particular trip, because they're saying that, look, President Biden is dealing with the debt ceiling issues right now. And the deadline is approaching us in less than 13 days. And he decides to go ahead and take this overseas trip to the G7 meetings in Japan. The GOP doesn't think that that is appropriate. And yes, obviously, the GOP is now ripping the president as he heads to Japan during these specific debt ceiling negotiation talks. But anyways, guys, President Biden left the White House on Wednesday, and now he is headed towards these particular G7 meetings in Japan. And the GOP, they are not necessarily exactly happy about this altogether. But anyways, it is what it is. But President Biden did say he will not stay for the entire time. He is actually going to cut his trip a little bit shorter, because he needs to get back to go ahead and talk about more negotiations in regards to the debt ceiling limit increase. But anyways, guys, that is exactly what is going on right now, which we already know that the Republicans and the Democrats continue to bicker, continue to fight, continue to not make progress for the American people. They continue to leave us out, especially the middle class as well as the low income families. But anyways, guys, that is exactly where we're at right now. We heard previously that they could have a debt ceiling piece of legislation by the end of this week. But again, President Biden is not even in town right now, so we don't necessarily know how this is going to play out. But anyways, guys, I will keep you guys posted as usual. And then last but not least, guys, we already talked about the deadline of the U.S. running out of money on June the 1st, in which we heard that information directly from the Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen. But I do have this interesting article right here, which talks about this particular person doesn't believe that June the 1st is actually a real deadline. Yes, guys, Mick Mulvaney, not necessarily know who he is, but he is saying that he doesn't believe in June the 1st deadline for the debt ceiling. He believes that that is fictitious. And yes, guys, he said in his statement that, look, for the Treasury Secretary to miss the date, that's fine, but to miss it on the wrong side, that's unheard of, he said. Yes, guys, he said this information in an interview with The Hill earlier this week. And he said that, look, rather the former chief of staff to President Trump suggested that the default deadline was likely much later than that. But he said that, look, I don't believe that Janet Yellen is stupid at all. I think she's a very smart lady. So it gives me the impression there's some politics around this particular June the 1st deadline. And he said, look, I know I'm thinking that there's other Republicans on the Hill who are thinking the same thing as him. But anyways, guys, that is exactly what his theory of this particular deadline, in which they are almost to that in less than 13 days away. So anyways, guys, what do you think about this? Do you think that this is a political stunt in which the deadline is not really June the 1st? It is really later, but they want to hope that they can get this thing done before June the 1st so that they'll have plenty of time to get it signed into law and raise the debt ceiling without any issues whatsoever. I think this is a very interesting perspective coming from Mick right here. But what do you guys think? I want to know what you guys think about this. And anyways, guys, it says right here that Mick is the acting chief of staff. So anyways, guys, let me know what you think about this and his particular conspiracy theory, if you will. He believes that June the 1st is not really the deadline. The deadline is probably a little bit later than that. Let me know down below in the comment section, guys. I would love to get your take on this. But anyways, guys, I hope all this information in this video was helpful to you today. Well, anyways, guys, hey, that's all we have for you today. But feel free to check out some of the items down below in the description. There are a few ways for you to be able to support this channel, as well as an opportunity opportunity for you to receive some free money, such as signing up for a brokerage account with Webull, where they are going to give you 12 free stocks after you deposit anything above 1 penny. Yes, guys, once you get those 12 stocks, it could be worth up to $3,000. Now, after you get them, hey, you can always sell them and then withdraw the money back into your bank account, which is how you can get the free money. But anyways, if you are interested, check out the link down below. But anyways, if you enjoyed today's content and you want to see more, go ahead, subscribe to the channel. It's totally free. And if you like today's video, then go ahead and hit the like button for us. It really helps out this channel, as well as it tells YouTube to share this video with others. But anyways, hey, I appreciate you guys stopping by and watching, and I hope to see you on the next video. Peace.